What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we are going to be starting off the Mustang project. I am excited about this. Hopefully you watched the trailer. Hopefully that got you excited, but without further ado, we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get right into the project. So let's have a little story time with Tyler here. So it's Saturday morning, and I've been constantly looking on Facebook Marketplace to find a car in the price range that I have. Roughly, I'm wanting to spend anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 for the car, which leaves me with about $1,000 to $1,500 to mess around with. $2,500 is what I plan on playing with for this project. So again, it's Saturday morning, I'm working out, and I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace, and this car jumps out at me. Now, this is what I see. So the first thing that I see is I see this picture of this Mustang, and it's got a great stance. I love the looks of it. The spoiler, the hood, everything is screaming what I want. It's a newer one, so it's an 04 as opposed to one of the older ones. So that's good. It's a little bit later on in things, which is good for me. I like the rims. Looking off to the side. Now, there are some concerns with this vehicle that I have. The first one, just by looking at the pictures, is the fender, the front fender. But you know what? I can get another fender, no big deal. But this thing looks fairly solid, so I'm feeling pretty good about the situation. Now, this is what I know that needs to be fixed. So, exhaust, no big deal. We can fix that. So it's 5-speed. That's what I want. And it's the V6. Not a big deal to me because the V6 is going to be an easy V8 swap. And I want to play with this thing anyways. So that's great with it. So I go ahead and I message the guy. And I say, hey, you got any pictures of the interior? So he sends me these pictures. And I'm looking at it. Okay. Stain in the back passenger's seat, no big deal. Looking, nothing alarming in the interior or anything like that. Normal wear and tear for a car this age. Looking good, no problem to me. Going through and looking at, the interior, the seats, this style of seats with that fabric, they fade, they wear, no big deal. And anyways, I can find other seats for it and, have some fun with that part with it. Now, on to this last picture that he sends me. And this one should have given me a little bit of alarm because when I was looking at the vehicle, it was early summer when I was, looking for a vehicle. And this has got frost on it and that. So I immediately know that these are older pictures, which is a 50-50 chance when you jump at something like this. But, for the cost, $1,200, we'll see what's up there. So from there, I get a message from him, and he also sends me a video of it running, and it doesn't sound bad. There's no knock, no tick, no nothing with it. It sounds good from what you can tell from, a video of a, motor running. Here's where the stuff starts to get interesting. He sends me a message that says the cover on the radio is red now with a Bluetooth touchscreen. Okay, whatever. It's a crappy Bluetooth touchscreen radio, but, no big deal. I'm not worried about that. I ask him, any check engine lights, and if he could send me a close-up of the dent, and what needs to be done with the exhaust, what's going on with the exhaust, and would it be able to be driven? And so he sends me back a message and says, it will go through all gears, but won't go into second gear. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, this thing doesn't have second gear in it. Not a big deal, though. I can get a T5 or I can rebuild a T5 for inexpensively, and especially if I'm getting it for this price. Okay, we'll see what we can do, and maybe we can work something out with that. And he says he doesn't have any more pictures of the vehicle because it's at a family member's house in Columbus. So here I am. I'm thinking, okay, this vehicle is not anywhere. It's not with him, and it's Columbus. So now I'm thinking 2 hours away from me, and I'm just starting a little leery, and I asked, what are you wanting for it? You want 12 for it? He's like, yeah, I want 12. I said, okay. So I start out, would you take 800 for it? And he said, no, the lowest I can go is 1,000. I said, well, is the check engine light, what's that? Because in the pictures you can see the check engine light's on. It says it's an O2 sensor. I'm like, well, that would make sense with the with the exhaust leak and that with it. So, okay. I said, does it have the catalytic converters? And he says, yes, it does. And no, he won't take 800 for it. He goes, I'll take 1,000. And okay, and right now I know I'm in buyers, I've just seen this vehicle, and I'm really itching to get one, and I'm really itching to get it. And so what I do then is, as I said, would you bring it to me for 1,000? He asks where I'm at, and I asked, do you have the title? He said yes, all that stuff. I said, okay. He said, I'm not opposed to doing it, but I need some money first. I said, yeah, no problem. So I electronically sent him. I said, I'll send you $200 now, and then when you get the vehicle here, I'll have $800 waiting on you. He jumps at it, which is cool, right? So I'm thinking, this is great. I'm getting a car that's brought to me. So, virtually I'm in my mind, I'm spending $800 for the car and $200 to have it dropped off to me. And I don't have to go anywhere, which is fantastic to me. So we go through and start getting it. Now, here's where the interesting part starts happening. So, we get everything all set up and do that. And then all of the sudden, now, I can tell he's kind of actually gotten to the actual vehicle because he sends me a picture of the interior. Now, this is already 2:30 in the afternoon, so we figured all this stuff out before lunchtime, all right? So this is a couple hours later once he's gotten to the vehicle, which I know. And so now I get this picture. And I'm already, I've already done this thing, but we'll go with it. It's not that bad, right? So obviously he's done a crappy job of putting this tape on the armrest, which look absolutely god-awful, and, terrible spray paint job on the interior to try to make that red, which I don't know why somebody would want to do that. I don't like that. That's not my cup of tea, not my thing, but, whatever. It's a little dirtier than what it was in the other pictures, but I don't see any major rips or anything that I didn't notice before, and all still good, no problem with that, as I'm thinking in my head. So, okay, no problem. So, he then says he's going to be on the way, and, I tell him, what's going on, and he tells me he's got to get a locksmith to get this vehicle, open and that with it, which, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I wasn't able to put two and two together. But now looking back on it, I kind of understand kind of what happened. And so now this time, again, I've already kind of bought the vehicle and that with it. So I ended up having to go, and my daughter had a concert I had to be at. So a buddy was at my house ready to pick it up and had the $800 for him. So he shows up at the house with the vehicle, and he sends me a message saying, oh yeah, sorry, somebody tried to break into the vehicle and the lock got busted on the trunk. And I'm like, okay, great. I got to fix that now. And so he's got it Johnny rigged so he can get the door open. Okay. Whatever. So that's kind of where it ends up. It was a crazy ride, and this is what I end up with. So I'm going to give you kind of a few videos of what the vehicle's like when I get it. So here you go. $1,000 project Mustang. All in all, after I settled down, after I evaluated everything, I think I ended up pretty decent, sitting with the whole thing with it. I know I've got a lot of work ahead of me. But I think it's going to be a fun ride, and I think I'm going to end up definitely on the plus side of this one with it. So I'm excited to really get down into the nitty-gritty of this whole thing and kind of bring you guys along for the process. I hope you're excited for it. I hope you're excited for the ride. I think it's going to be a fun one as we discover this vehicle and get into this vehicle together. Now, as always, I want to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Did I end up making a good purchase? Did I make a bad purchase? I want to know your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll continue the conversation on down there, because that's not the end of this story. Trust me, there's a lot more. So I'm just gonna say we're gonna have some pleasant surprises and some not so pleasant surprises on the horizon. So you'll definitely want to check the channel back out for more content. All right, listen, guys, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.